Hello guys, it's Amanda and welcome back to my channel and welcome back to another video. In today's video, I'm going to be reviewing the Caraval series by Stephanie Garber. So, let's get right into it. So, Caraval. I started reading Caraval I read the first book back in November and I finished it in December. And then I took a little break and then I just finished the entire series back in April. It's taken me a little while to get this video up because I really wanted to get my thoughts in and really understand this series and how amazing it truly was. So Caraval is amazing. I first learned about it a couple years ago, and basically the gist of it is that it's about two sisters, Scarlett and Tella, and every year there is this carnival called Caraval, and every year you can get invited, and if you are invited and if you have a ticket, then you will actually be a part of the show and the game and everything. It's so magical when you think about it, and I will read you the back of the first book. There's literally still sand in these pages because I read all of these books on the beach. Here is the first book, Caraval. It's so gorgeous. The cover art of these books I am so in love with. A legendary competition, a mesmerizing romance, an unbreakable bond between two sisters. Scarlett Dragna has never left the tiny island where she and her sister Tella live with their powerful and cruel father. Now Scarlett's father has arranged a marriage for her, and Scarlett thinks her dreams of seeing Caraval, the faraway, once-a-year performance where the audience participates in the show, are over. But this year, Scarlett's long-dreamt-of invitation finally arrives. With the help of the mysterious sailor, Tella whisks Scarlett away to the show. Only as soon as they arrive, Tella is kidnapped by Caraval's mastermind organizer, Legend. It turns out that this season's Caraval revolves around Tella, and whoever finds her first is the winner. Scarlett has been told that everything happens during Caraval is only an elaborate performance, but she, nevertheless, becomes enmeshed into the game of love, heartbreak, and magic with the other players in the game. And whether Caraval is real or not, she must find Tella before the 5 nights of the game are over. A dangerous domino effect of consequences is set off, and her sister disappears forever. Welcome to Caraval. Beware of getting too far swept away. Oh my god, I love this series so much. And I forgot to mention at the very beginning, this video is going to be completely spoil-free, so any of you that have not read this series yet, you're completely free from spoilers. This series was just so magical, and the word that I can describe the entire series was just beautiful. It was so beautiful. I loved every single character, all the characters and the relationships between the characters. Obviously, Scarlett and Tella having that good sisterly bond that is so magical, and I obviously really loved the romances in this book, in the entire series. My favorite character I think is obviously Julian. I won't get too much into him because he's a pretty important character, but he's basically a pirate, a sailor. I was very surprised while reading this because there is actually a lot of piratey aspects of this series, and you guys know how much I love pirate romances, and I was just pleasantly surprised by that. I was really surprised about the magic and how atmospheric the entire series was. Stephanie Garber goes so into detail of how this world looks, so it's very much like you are physically in this world, and it is just magical and beautiful. I said it's otherworldly. This series was truly one of the most magical things I've ever read. The most atmospheric, the most just really amazing with that aspect. Another thing I liked about it was that throughout the entire series there is this like witchy, magical, obviously magical, but like there's a witchy vibe to everything too. A lot of the book is based on obviously magic, and there is a bit of tarot magic, like tarot cards, and some magic that we've never even heard of that is completely new, and it's really great to read about. While reading this entire series, it truly felt that I was in Caraval. I loved the pace of the book. Like, it wasn't slow, but it wasn't too fast. It was just really good. And like once we finally got to Caraval, it was just like throughout every book, I think like as the books go on, each one gets better and better in every aspect, with the romance, with the magic, with the atmosphere. A lot of what this entire book series reminded me a lot of was the Stalking Jack the Ripper series, especially the third book in that series, which is Escaping from Houdini. It really reminded me a lot of that, and that's actually why I wanted to pick up this series, was because of the third book of the Stalking Jack the Ripper series. I love that series, and the third book was obviously my favorite, so I wanted something like that, so that's why I picked up Caraval. And Caraval is so much better than Escaping Houdini because it has so much of the magic, the mystery, the dangerousness. It was just so amazing, and it was so much fun to read. You would always like be excited to read the next chapter, and every time I was reading, I would be laughing out loud, I'd be crying on a lot of it, and it was just, you really connected with the characters in the entire series, and you really got to know them. What I liked about the series is that the first book is mainly based on Scarlet and her story and how she's dealing with Caraval. The second book is mainly tethered to Tella, and then the final book is both of them combined. I liked that structure of it. I like when books do that. Another thing I liked about it is that there's not different point of views. I like different point of views, but I don't like them because sometimes they get just too confusing. So I liked that this was in the third person, yet also book 1 was focused on Scarlet, and then book 2 was focused on Tella without it being in their point of views. That's a little technical, but I liked how that was planned out. And the final book is like each chapter is named Scarlet or Tella, basically say like which one is more structured to whichever sister. I really liked that whole thing about it, and I really liked how everything connected. Like, not everything, I don't want to say like everything connected, but I liked how everything went together nicely. Because with some series, like things would happen, like this would happen, that would happen, and it's like, whoa, okay. And then we just close the series like, oh, okay, well that happened. Yes, there was a lot of plot twists and turns, but they all came together nicely, and like it was explained well, and it wasn't just like, oh, that happened just because, you know, it happened. Everything was explained of why everything happened, and then everything was wrapped up in the end, and the ending of this series was so good. You know, an ending of a book or series will really make or break me, because From Blood and Ash by Jennifer L. Armentrout, I loved it, but then the ending killed me, and I don't want to read the rest of the series. So an ending of a book or series is really number one on my list for good things, but it was all wrapped up nicely, and everything was just wrapped up in a bow with a cherry on top, and it was just phenomenal. And when I finished it, I closed the book, and like, it was like one of those stories where you just have to like close it and like think. You just have to sit there for like 10-15 minutes and think about what you just read and be like, whoa. You like have to really like come down back to earth. That was another thing. Every single time I was reading, after I was done reading for that time, I would put it down and we'd have to take a couple minutes. I'm like, okay, life. And it was just such an amazing book series. I highly recommend this to anyone, really. I gave each book a 5 out of 5 stars. I had no problems with it. There's nothing I could pick on. Everything was just so amazing, and everything was so up my alley, and everything was just amazing. It was such a great book series, a really good series to binge. I took a break between the first book and the second book. I honestly don't know why, but I just did. But then I read the second and third book back to back. But it is such a good binge-worthy book series that you could read. But I really liked these books, and I liked the length of each one. Each book is pretty much the same length in pages, which I liked. That's another thing. It's like, I like series that have the somewhat same amount of pages in each book. It was just, I loved this series so much because it had angsty romance. It had really touching scenes. There was a lot of times where I was crying just because of happiness or for actual sadness. I just don't have words for how great this was, and it was a really magical experience to read these books. So if you plan on reading these books, please let me know, because I would love to know your thoughts on them. And yeah, I think that's all I have to say about this. So if you did read this series, please let me me know. Just be mindful if you want to comment something. Be mindful if you're going to say a spoiler. Put like spoiler before you say it, just so other people don't read it in case they haven't read it yet. Just be mindful of other people, that's all I ask. But I would love to talk to you guys about these books because I loved it so much. So I think that is going to be the end of today's video. I hope you enjoyed. If you enjoyed, please hit the like button, hit subscribe if you have not already, and click the notification bell so you'll be notified every single time that I upload. And if you want to find me anywhere else, you can find me on Instagram, TikTok, GoodReads, Pinterest, and in between the pages of a book. And as always, remember to be the Captain Jack Sparrow of your story, and may your compass lead you to amazing things. And I hope to see you again in my next video. Bye guys.